Welcome back to Just a Guy Reviews. I'm Matt Sula, and today we're going to be talking about the new Netflix rom-com, You People. It is a comedy written by Jonah Hill and the first-time movie director Kenya Barris. It is a movie that is, if I can read straight from the Google description of it, a new couple and their families reckon with modern love and culture clashes, societal expectations, and general differences. Basically, what's happening here is Jonah Hill plays a 35-year-old Jewish man who is a podcaster talking about, quote unquote, the culture, which is pretty pop culture way of saying black culture. And you know what? If you find a 35-year-old man, Jewish man at that, Jewish white guy, talking about black culture. Maybe you can find this funny. I know that is basically describing Paul Rosenberg, who has been on, I think, 97.1 in New York for years now. He has been very successful in the same realm, but where this movie absolutely crushes me is the way that every character talks. I guess they're talking, I don't know, I really don't know if it's like Gen Z or late millennial, or if that's actually how some people talk nowadays. I've certainly never met a single person talk the way that anyone in this movie talks. I mean, every joke was unfunny. Everything they said made me roll my eyes. And I went into this thinking, whoa, new Netflix comedy. Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's pretty funny. I like Jonah Hill. But the other names attached to this, Eddie Murphy, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, David Duchovny, like, they're all hilarious. I didn't even make it to where they really get involved in the movie, because 35 minutes in, I turned this shit off. This shit was so bad. I couldn't believe how terrible this movie was. I didn't use a single muscle in my face the entire first 35 minutes. And maybe you can say, you know what, you didn't really give it a chance. I don't really care to give it a chance at this point. I've heard people talk about it at this point, and they say the last half is even worse than the first half. I don't even know how that's possible. This shit was terrible. This was a real joke that was said in this movie. So Jonah Hill is basically, as I said, 35-year-old white Jewish man who talks about black culture. He meets this woman who is played by Lauren London, and he accidentally gets in her car thinking she's an Uber. Oh, they do the funny, haha, you think all black people look the same, haha, very funny. They end up dating, and they meet each other's parents, yada, yada, yada. Before they meet, Jonah Hill's having like an existential crisis, saying like he's never going to find anybody, yada, yada, yada. And his, I guess, he's got a podcast. His podcast partner, who is this, I guess also 35-year-old black girl, looks at him and goes, I've never met a man that wants to be in a relationship so badly, except like Drake, like views Drake. And Jonah Hill looks at her and goes, I feel like views Drake. That's a real fucking joke told in this movie. That is so fucking terrible. I can't even believe it. I know this movie's supposed to be like how if you actually got to past the point in the movie that I didn't get to, because I was so offended by wasting the first 35 minutes, is that it's two cultures coming together, Jewish family, black family. They butt heads. I'm sure at some point they like reconciliate and be like, oh, we're not that different, whatever. Like this I'm sure that ended up being, I'm sure, a little funny. Like I said, you have Eddie Murphy, fucking one of the funniest men to ever live. David Duchovny, I love from Californication. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Seinfeld VP, which was a fantastic show. I've watched several movies with her recently. She's fantastic. She's probably, as of right now, the most recognizable out of the bunch, and probably still the funniest. I don't know about Eddie Murphy, but recently I haven't seen him be all that funny, and it didn't help in this movie. I can't believe how you had. Did they not ask Eddie Murphy? I know it's written by Kenya Barris, and Jonah Hill. Kenya Barris, who has been a writer for TV shows like Blackish and Grownish. very creative, obviously, are the creator of Grownish, I'm sorry. And the Shaft remake, which I didn't see. But did Jonah and Kenya not go to Eddie Murphy and be like, hey, can you read this script? Make sure it's funny? Because I'm almost positive that Eddie Murphy's agent must have just been like, hey, we're running low on funds. You got to do something, get in this movie. Because if he read the script, I can't imagine he co-signed it. It was like, this is funny right here. And obviously, the man will, because obviously the man will do a lot for a paycheck. He just said he would do another Shrek as Donkey, which, I mean, who doesn't love Shrek? Donkey's great. But I don't know why Eddie Murphy would be like, yeah, you want to do a sixth Shrek? Sure. Give Donkey his own movie. I would love that. That'd be fucking awesome. But like I said, this was just terrible. Not too much. I don't know if it's Gen Z or millennial that they're talking. Like, I don't know a single millennial that talk the way these guys do. It sounded like a lot of Gen Z talk. Critics gave it a 44%, audience 40%, 5.6 on IMDb. I gave it a 1 star. This gets 1 from me, so I guess on IMDb, I'd give it a 1.5 out of 10 maybe. If I had to give it a percentage, like 15%. This shit's terrible. And I'm offended that I spent 35 minutes watching it. I turned it off. Me and my girlfriend turned it off, and we turned on Tar, which I will be making a video about shortly. The complete opposite movie. The complete opposite in every way. In every way. Ooh, I would also like to point out, real quick, if you go to Google, I was going to say this is a romantic comedy movie. If you go to Google, it says Rom-Buddy. It doesn't even mention comedy, which is hilarious because, like I said, no comedy being found in this movie. Not a single laugh. Anyway, that's my review of you people. 1 star. I'm giving it. Be sure to follow me at on YouTube right here at All Eyes on, I believe it's 69, All Eyes on 69. On Twitter at Matthew Sula. At Twitter at All Eyes on Twit. More movie reviews on alleyon.com. And that'll be it. This was Just a Guy Reviews, and I will see you with my next review, which will be Kate Blanchett's Tar. See you guys then.